Cold weather, for some reason, always makes me think of handheld gaming. Now, whether that's because I like to be kind of curled up under a blanket on my bed, staying warm, or what, I'm not really sure. But when I think of handheld gaming, I think of my all-time favorite video game system, the Nintendo 3DS. What's going on, everybody? I'm Jay. Welcome to Square Pegs. I did a video like this probably about a year and a half ago where I gave you 10 games I was still playing on my 3DS. And that just really wasn't sufficient enough because the library on the 3DS means there's a lot more than 10 games that I've been playing on that console. I want to give you guys a heads up. Any footage you're going to see on this video is emulated. I do own the games that I'm showing, but I don't have a way to capture the footage just because I haven't modded this machine and I'm not going to. So I'm just running it through an emulator to get the footage so you guys can see it. So what do you say? Let's kick things off right now with a classic entry from Nintendo in the Mario Kart franchise. I mean, yeah, you might as well start off with Mario Kart, right? Like, it's a great game, it's a great series, great franchise, and it plays fantastically well on the Nintendo 3DS. Mario Kart 7 is no joke. It does a lot of stuff that we kind of take for granted now with Mario Kart 8, things like the hang gliders, things like going underwater, stuff like that. It was stuff that had never been done before, and it was pretty cool. It was pretty well done. I really, really enjoy it. There's 32 different courses for you to pick from, 16 different racers, which is great. It's a nice, classic, simple Mario Kart experience. You can play online or local, up to 8 players, which is awesome. There's a bunch of different single-player modes as well. And I really like the different character options and some of the different items that are in the game. Metal Mario, Lakitu, Wiggler, those are in the game for the first time. I think the Tanuki suit was an item for the first time, which actually gives you the raccoon tail to hit other players with or to knock things away from you, which I think is pretty cool. That was in a previous game. I apologize, I'm just not remembering it. But I really do enjoy this one. I think it's a super fun game. Track designs are great. Gameplay is wonderful. Music is fantastic. I mean, it's Mario Kart, man. It doesn't do anything wrong. There's a lot to really love about Androdunos 2. So first off, it's the rare shmup, and it is one I did not originally play on the 3DS. I actually originally played this on the Switch. I covered it on an eShop Hidden Gems video a couple of years ago, and discovered well after the fact that this is actually a 3DS game. One of the last 3DS games ever made, actually, and it's a brilliant title. It's a fantastic bullet hell shooter that is properly difficult, and if you think it's easy, just know that I'm bad at video games. I just like talking about them, so just, you know, take that smugness elsewhere. But it's a really fun game. I think it looks great. The sound in the game is fantastic. The different power-ups are really fun. The ability to kind of level up the different weapons you have independently of each other is really awesome. I really, really dig this one. And there's some really neat stuff going on as well with things other than just the gameplay itself. Like, the bottom screen of the game is kind of useless, but it's neat to see the way that the pilot interacts with the movements that you're using in the game. So, like, as you go up, you'll see him actually, like, pull down on the flight stick or push up on the flight stick if you're going down. It's really creative. It's a really nice use of that. I really do enjoy this one, though. It's a fantastic shmup, a really difficult game, and great to play on the 3DS, and great to play elsewhere as well if you want to play it on something other than a 3DS. There are no shortage of great turn-based strategy games on the Nintendo 3DS. Everything just from the Fire Emblem series alone is worth playing. It's all fantastic, and I could have done an entire video just talking about all the... Ooh, maybe I'll do a ranking video of Fire Emblem games. Okay, yeah, that's going to happen sometime soon, but right now we are talking about a different type of turn-based strategy game on the 3DS, and it is called Stella Glow. This was developed or released by Atlas here in the States. I think it was developed by someone else. I don't know exactly who, but the gameplay is really solid. It's classic turn-based strategy action, right? Like, it's not overcomplicating things. It's not trying to reinvent the wheel or anything like that. It's just a cutesy turn-based strategy game that's really fun and really well designed. Like, you go through, you have different characters. One of them has a spoon that she clubs people with, which I think is great. All the characters are really cool. It's just a really kind of adorable game. There's some relationship building stuff in the game as well, which is fine. It doesn't do anything really exceptional, but it doesn't do anything poorly either. I think it's a really fun title and definitely worth looking into if you've never played it. Now, when I say I go back to Spy Hunter on the 3DS, I want to point out it's not because Spy Hunter is a great game. I just have fun with it. It is a deeply flawed game. The controls are very touchy. It is Spy Hunter kind of in name only because it's not like the controls are touchy. It is not a tightly controlling game like classic Spy Hunter was, but it's fun. Like, and I think that's really what it boils down to, is I just have fun with this absolutely absurd title because you are playing in this souped up car You are driving along, you're able to blow up other cars that are on the road that are trying to take you out. You have a bunch of different weapons you can use. It's just fun. It's not good. Don't get me wrong. Like, I don't want to tell you it's a good game because that would be a lie, but it's fun. And sometimes that's all you need is just some dumb fun. We were spoiled for a lot of really excellent role-playing games on the Nintendo 3DS. And one of the ones I really enjoyed was The Legend of Legacy, which has, incidentally, a remaster on modern consoles. So if you don't have a 3DS and this looks interesting to you, check it out on things like the PS5 and the Switch. This is a classic role-playing game where you get to play as one of 7 different protagonists, and you get to basically form a party that's kind of predetermined at the start, but as you play, you're able to recruit more characters. And one of the really neat things about this game is you are filling in a map as you go. So as you wander the world, your map is going to draw in. It starts off as a blank slate, and you're able to fill it into 100%, which I think is really cool. As someone who just kind of digs maps and the art of, cartography, it's pretty neat. I really dig it. It doesn't really have a huge impact on the gameplay, but it's neat to feel that kind of rush of, hey, I did it, I got 100%. The gameplay is really solid. It's classic turn-based RPG action, and it plays incredibly well. The look of the game is wonderful. There's some really solid gameplay options here. The characterizations are really good. Some of the enemy designs are really creative, and I like the level designs. And I like stuff like, as you're wandering around, the trees kind of drawing in as you play to show that you don't know this area. It's undiscovered. I think that's really clever, and it kind of masks some of the weaknesses of the 3DS as a system by drawing those things in and not storing them in memory all the time. It kind of cleans things up a little bit. Great game. If you've never played it, it's definitely worth checking out. Like I said, it's also on modern consoles, so Legend of Legacy, definitely worth looking into. Oh, this is one of the ones that suffers the worst from having to use the emulation to show how the game plays, but Kid Icarus Uprising is 100% brilliant if you have everything you need to be able to play it successfully. Like, you desperately need a stand because you're using the stylus to move the reticle around on the screen of where you're actually aiming, and to just hold it, your hand is going to get really tired. So you need a little stand for it, but it's awesome. Anyway, let's not talk about peripherals. Let's actually talk about the game. It's a Kid Icarus game. First off, that's amazing in and of itself because Nintendo just really does not care about this IP, which is unfortunate. And it's a fantastic Kid Icarus game. It plays a lot like Panzer Dragoon, and it's wonderful. It's really, really fun. It looks incredible. I would love to see this come to the Switch and just replace that stylus controls by just sticking it on the left thumbstick or on the right thumbstick. It would be amazing. It is a solid game that is properly difficult and incredibly fun. And just, if you're looking at this video and you just go, why are you suggesting this? This doesn't look good. Trust me, it's because I have to emulate it and I can't use the touch controls to be able to fire. It is an absolutely wonderful game, though. If you have it properly on the 3DS, it's absolutely brilliant. I don't really know that there's ever been a Shinobi game that I've, just disliked. I think they've all got a lot of promise and a lot of, quality to them, and the 3DS version of Shinobi is no different. Now, it's wildly different than standard Shinobi, especially if you got your start on Shinobi like I did back on the Sega Genesis, but the game is spectacular. It's really fun. The controls are tight, the gameplay is solid, there's some really neat, deflecting mechanics in play here. I like the different abilities that you're able to get, the touchscreen interaction is solid. It's just a fun game that does Shinobi really well. It doesn't, try to overthink the formula of what Shinobi is. It just kind of goes for what worked, pluses it here and there as necessary, and makes the game overall really fun. I like the level designs, I like the boss fights, I like the overall concept of the game. Works really well. Super fun to play Shinobi. I won't spend a ton of time on this one. Everyone knows this game and knows how excellent it is. This is Metroid Samus Returns. It is a continuation of the fantastic 2D Metroid series. It is just a brilliantly executed title, and this actually led us to get Metroid Dread. The same guys that developed this developed Dread, and it's wonderful. There's some really creative things involved here. I like the melee attack. I like the exploration. It's classic Metroid fare, and it works. If you dig Metroid, you're going to love this one. I don't know how you couldn't. I think it's fantastic. The only regret I have about this game is that I never got the Samus 3DS that they released, the orange one that has her on it. I really wanted to get it. I talked to my wife about it a few times, and I never pulled the trigger on it. And now I can't find it anywhere for a reasonable price. So, unfortunately, I'm going to have to let that one go. But you should not let Metroid Samus Return go. It's wonderful. I've talked about Need for Speed The Run several times in the past on the channel, but that has always been in reference to the Xbox 360 version, which is spectacular as long as you remember to turn off your Wi-Fi, because it doesn't work if you have your Wi-Fi on. That's unfortunate. But today, this one here, Need for Speed The Run on the 3DS, is such a solid entry into a storied franchise that was never really well represented on the DS or on the 3DS. It's a fantastic game. You're basically doing the cannonball run. The game starts off with you kind of getting pushed off of a bridge in your car. You break out of the car. You're rescued by a woman. You guys get into this super fast car, and then you're off to drive across the country. And it's amazing. This, kind of like Kid Icarus, is one that suffers a little bit from the fact that I had to emulate it because it was harder to play this and not be able to use the stylus on the touchscreen because I was playing on a computer screen and not actually on a 3DS. There's some really neat interaction that you can do there, but it's still a really fun title even without that. I do love this game. It is such a wonderful racing title and so cool to see Need for Speed represented on the 3DS. I love Super Mario 3D Land. I think it is one of the best Mario games ever made, and it's kind of remarkable to me that we got this incredible 3D Mario adventure on the 3DS. And I realize now saying that how absurd that sounds, but it's a really ambitious game that they crammed onto a 3DS cartridge and made work beautifully well, which, I mean, it's Nintendo. They're kind of wizards, so I kind of expect that, but this is one that just kind of blew me away when I played it. It's a fantastically designed game with some really creative levels. Things that we saw presented here got perfected in Super Mario 3D World on the Wii U, and it doesn't really take that much of a leap forward. It was a great game already on the 3DS, and it became a near perfect game on the Wii U. The designs are great. The different enemies are wonderful. The power-ups in the game are fantastic. The level designs are excellent. And of course, the music is perfection. It's just magnificent. It is one of the necessary games, I think, for everyone to own that has a 3DS. Yeah, my favorite system of all time, the Nintendo 3DS. I have literally thousands of hours on this system. It is something that I love. The library is incredible. There's literally, I could probably do like 5 or 6 more of this particular video type just talking about 3DS games I love. But I want to hear from you. Let me know in the comments down below, what 3DS games do you enjoy? Let me know which ones you are still playing in 2025. I would love to know what games are really just the ones that you can't get enough of. If you're new here, please click like, please subscribe. I'd love to have you stick around. And hey, if you want to see the video I did previously, it is on screen right now where you can take a look at those games. Why don't you click on it right now? You can check it out. Till next time, folks, I've been Jay. Appreciate you spending a little bit of time with me. Remember to play more games, stay square, and take care. I'll talk to you soon.